Hello, guys. How are you? How have you been? All good? First of all, can you just let me know whether you can hear me or not? Can you just type yes or no? Thank you, João. Thank you. Thank you, Alice. Thank you. Thank you, Aline. All right. Because maybe it's a good time to start. And another question, who has been to the previous ones? I think Aline has and Carlos too. Did you come to the last virtual classes? Anybody? Jean, I didn't. Okay, yeah, Jean, so you missed. But did you come to any of the previous classes, João, or not? Alicia, yes. Carlos, yes. Okay. Okay. Cool, João, the first one. Okay, João. So you missed the second one. All right. So this is the last one, guys. Okay. So the virtual classes were to deal with 10 myths. Okay. And then this is the last one. We're going to deal with 4 myths today. Okay. So we're going to get started. Let me just get the material ready here. 1 minute. Yeah. Okie dokie. All right. Okay, guys. So can you see the material? Yes or no? Just tell me. Yes, Carlos. Thank you, Carlos. Okay, Lee, thank you. Okay. Hi, Andrea. See you. Hello again, right? I saw you this afternoon. All right, okay. So let's get started then. Okay. So as you all know, so we had 10 myths, okay, in the ebook that I created, okay, to help you guys improve your IELTS score, all right? And then the first virtual class was about writing, okay, and then speaking, and then reading, and then listening, okay? And today, maybe there's a problem here. Oh, yeah, sorry, yeah, sorry. First, we dealt with that writing, okay, the first class. Then the second class was speaking. And today we're going to deal with reading and listening, okay? I think 1 hour is more than enough to do both, okay, because we had 4. But because reading and listening are receptive skills, not productive skills, I think that we can do it quickly, okay? And also it's all about me telling you what to do. And then as soon as you finish this class, you can go and practice, all right? Okay, so let's have a look. If you have been to the virtual class before, you know what I would like from you. But just a reminder for the people who are attending for the first time, I would like you to participate, okay? Ask questions, and of course, enjoy. Hopefully it won't be boring, okay? So, so let's start with the first myth. So a lot of people believe that when they're doing the reading test, they should read the question first and then read the text. So if you have had this advice before, sorry, if you have been given this advice before, can you please say yes? So has anyone told you to read the questions first and then the text? If this is true for you, can you just please say yes? And if you never heard it before, can you just say no, maybe? Aline has yes, Carlos yes, Alice yes. And when you heard that, so when you were told to read the questions before you read the text, can you just tell me quickly why that was suggested, or you don't know? Why were you given that suggestion? Okay, Aline. So you know what you have to find? Yes. Anybody else? Because the questions give you an idea and the reading context and some particular ideas. Yes. That can be true, Carlos, but I'll tell you why I don't quite agree with that. Okay. Anything else? Yeah, because you can pay attention to distinguish words and keywords. Yes, Andrea. Yes and no. Okay, so I had some comments, right? So Aline, Carlos, and Andrea. Okay, so I will tell you what I believe is the best way. Okay, but I think you should do whatever gets you the best score. Okay, so if you have been practicing reading the questions first and then the text, and if you're getting a good score, keep doing that. But my suggestion is trying to do the other way around and see what you can get. Okay, so are you familiar with this type of question? Yes, false, not given. Sorry, true, false, not given. Have you seen this before? Yes. Do you love it? Andrea, yeah. Do you love it? It's the best one, isn't it? I hate. Alice is very honest. Yeah. Yeah, I know. Everyone hates that one. Maybe I will do a virtual class only on true, false, not given. And they also have yes, no, not given, right? They have both. Yeah. One are facts, other ones are information. It's a little bit complicated. So yeah. So we have that one. Then we have this one. I hope you can read. It's like, I can read very well. Okay. Choose three. So you have to choose, sorry. Oh, answer questions. So we have the ones that you have to answer questions, and then we have list of headings, you have to match, sentence completion. Okay. We also have multiple choice. Okay. So we have so many types of questions. Okay. So imagine you start. So imagine, just go back a little bit. Imagine that the first question you have is probably the one that you have questions and you have to answer. If you start by looking at those questions, do you think you'll be able to get an idea of the topic or no? It can be a little bit complicated because some of you said that you would read the questions first to get an idea of the topic. Do you think that by reading the questions, for example, you'll be able to get an idea of the topic? Yes or no? It's confusing. I agree with you, Andrea. Anybody else? So if you just read those questions, do you think you get an idea of a topic or not? You can guess the topic. Yeah. So I agree with Carlos in that way. Yeah. So yeah, so I agree with you guys too. It is a bit confusing. Okay, Aline. I'm on the trains and destination mistake all the time. Let's see how it goes. Okay, Aline. So yeah, so if you if you don't feel that like you have to answer all the questions, then okay. But thanks for joining us, even though you're on the train. Okay. So yeah. So the thing is, when you look at the questions before, okay, you might get an idea of the topic, but you don't know where the information is. All right. So that's the big problem with reading the questions first. Okay. You don't know where the information is. So that might take you a long time. So just imagine all these types of tasks. Okay. So all these types of tasks here. And if you start with the questions, you are kind of preparing yourself to answer those questions, but you still don't know the text quite well. Okay. So for me, if you start with the text, okay, you start with the text and you know where everything is, and then you go to the first set of questions. We usually have 2 or 3 sets of questions. Okay. So you go to the first set of questions, and then maybe it's going to take you a while to find the information. But then when you go to the next set of questions, you kind of know where everything is because you have explored the text first. But when I say, and I don't even say read the text, I say maybe explore the text. Or a lot of people like to say skim. So when we say skimming, means you read quickly. Because I think that some people who start by reading the text first, sometimes they spend too much time reading the text. And that can be a big problem. Okay, so my advice is read the text first, especially because from the text, you can answer any type of question. Okay, so that is the main reason. Okay, now I would like to ask you something. You probably have, if you have practiced both, can you tell me which one got you the best score? If you have practiced both, of course. Okay, Andrea, but have you practiced reading the text first or the questions first? And which one got you the best score? So which one got you the best score? Reading the text first or reading the questions first? You tried both. And which one was better, Andrea, for you? Read first, yeah. It usually is. So I've had students improving 1 point after they read the text first. Okay. Yeah. So Carlos, like when you really start studying for the IELTS, try both. Okay. So do one, maybe if you think it's a good idea to read the questions first. So go ahead and read the questions first and then read the text, see how many points you get, and then try again by reading the text first. Okay. So again, so that's why it's so good to practice, because then you can try different things and of course do what gets you the best score. Okay. Do you have any other questions about this topic? Reading the text first or the question first? But for me, you should read the text first. Okay. Thank you, Carlos. You're welcome. Sorry, thank you. You're welcome. No more questions. Thank you, Andrea. Anybody else? No more questions? Okay, cool. All right, cool. Let's go to the next one then. The next one is, so if you underline the text in the reading part, you're wasting your time. So have you been told that it is a good idea to underline the text? Yes or no? Just tell me yes or no. No. Yes, the main ideas. Okay, Eleni. Okay, haven't done that yet. Okay. Yes. So a lot of people. Yes, Carlos, I agree with you. Yeah. So a lot of people that get a bad score, I'll say, oh, are you underlining the text? And the first thing they say is, no, it takes too much time. So to start, some people just start by the questions, okay? And so they there's no way they can underline anything. But I feel that underlining is super important, okay? And I will tell you why, okay? So like underlining things, okay? So for me, when you underline, it helps you understand the text, okay? Like me, for example, I always read with a pencil, okay? And I underline, our circle, sometimes I have squares also, okay? And I feel that that's quite helpful, especially so you can understand, okay? And then more importantly, you know where things are, okay? If you have a very long text, if you underline things and circle and make squares, those kinds of things, you look at it and you know exactly what you can see, okay? And also, for me, I feel like the text becomes smaller because once you read quickly and underline, basically all you can see is what you have underlined. So imagine a full page, and then whatever is underlined is, in your opinion, the most important thing about the text. So when you look at it, all you can see is what you have underlined. So for me, I feel like the text is smaller. I don't know if you feel the same way. So can you please quickly tell me if you underline and what's the main reason why you underline? Numbers and dates. Okay, yeah. I personally don't like to underline numbers and dates, Carlos, because I feel that numbers and dates are easy to find. Yeah, I usually don't underline them because it's easy to find, so I usually don't underline them. But yeah, but if it helps you, just do it definitely. Okay. I think people have really bad connection today because the numbers of attendees keep changing. Yes, a lot of people have, I think, bad internet connection today. All right, so let's move on. Okay, Andrea, okay. Okay, all right. Yeah. Yeah, okay, yeah. So I agree with Carlos and Andrea in that case that maybe keywords are the most important thing. Okay. Yeah, you can say keywords, but also you could just say like whatever you find important, whatever will help you find the information. Okay. So this is a text here. Okay. Can you quickly just have a look at the text? And if you have a piece of paper next to you, just maybe take notes of some keywords in that paragraph. This is from an academic text, okay? From an IELTS exam. Maybe have a quick read and maybe take notes of the words that you think are important. Okay, so yeah, so now this is the one I did. This is mine one. Did I underline the same words as you or not? Oh, look, I have a date there, Carlos. I circled. So if you can see, like I underline in our circle. So are the words that I circled or the words I thought they were my keywords are the same as yours or not? Yes, okay. Yeah, so I think underlining is quite personal. Okay. Then come from, fed up with, set up. Almost the same. Okay, yeah, okay. So I would like to explain to you why I underlined these words, these ones, okay? So because the first part talking about dogs find drugs. So if I look at this, I know dogs find drugs since 1967. Okay, so they found them in pounds and private breeders, but then they set up the breeding program. So this is talking about, okay, how they had the dogs to find drugs in Australia. Okay, and they usually get them from a place, but then they decided to set up the breeding program. Okay, so if I just look at that, it helps me remember what it is about. Okay, so I think that the underlining is so important. And I don't know if you are aware, but nowadays you can take the IELTS on the computer. Did you hear about that? Yeah. So I think that reading on the computer is a challenge to a lot of people. Like for me, for example, I hate reading on the computer. I like the paper. Like I said, I like to underline things. But if you're doing the computer, they give you a tool which is highlight. So even if you're doing if you're practicing your underlining, okay, and then you're gonna, for some reason, you have to do the IELTS on the computer, you can use the highlighter on the computer. Okay, so your skills are not going to waste. Okay, so do you have any questions concerning the reading part? Yes or no? Because we dealt with both myths already. No questions? Thank you, Andrea. Okay, no questions. Okay, thank you, Aline. All right, cool. So let's move on to the next one, which is listening. Okay, so you should read all the options and all the sentences in the listening part. Andrea, we talked about it this afternoon, didn't we? So Andrea, can you, we did a test this afternoon, right, Andrea? And I suggested, yeah, because this week I'm teaching IELTS in the afternoon. So Andrea is my student in the afternoon. So yeah, so this week, so today we did I think 2 or 3 that were multiple choice, right? So they look like this, right, Andrea? So you practiced reading the question and not really the options, right? How did you go? Did that work for you or not really? I'm asking Andrea because I know she practiced it today. And we had a student in class and he said that he reads everything and she think it works. But then Rafa said that he doesn't do it. He reads everything and he thinks it works. But then we kind of agree that in the activity today, okay, so if you look at the one I'm presenting now, this is a part 2 in the listening, and it's quite short. So you have like a short question. Exactly. As I agree, and if you have time, you should definitely. Yeah. So yes. So if you look at this one, you have the questions. But if you look at the options, they're not very long, except for 15. So maybe you have time. You have what, 30 seconds, 40 seconds to analyze everything before you listen. However, look at this one. If you compare both, okay, the one on the right, okay, which is a part 3 for the listening, it's much longer. Okay, so maybe the one on the left, you have time to analyze everything. The one on the right, you might not have enough time. And I believe that this task specifically, they give you they give you something before and then that one. So you have to analyze 2 different things before you get to that one thing and then that one. So maybe you don't have enough time. Okay, so my main advice here is, if you don't have time, you should be focusing on the question. Okay, because sometimes, not sometimes, very often actually, they will say all the options. Okay, they will say A, B, C, but only one will answer the question. Okay, so I don't think it's the best idea to read everything unless you have time. Okay, so if you just have time to read the questions, what should you do also? Does anyone know? What is a good way to make the question smaller? Does anybody know? If you know, you can say what it is. If you don't know, you can say, no, I don't know. Yeah, Andrea knows everything. You have a good memory, Andrea. Yeah. So guys, so my suggestion is underline. So if you have something like this, which is the longest one. So if you look, just read verbs. Yeah, but not just reading, Carlos. Okay, because if you look at the first one there, question 24, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 words. Okay, maybe while you're listening, you don't have time to read everything again. So what do? You underline the keywords. Because when you're listening, you just remember, employees encourage workers. Okay, so you're getting rid of so many words. So that was 9, okay, and now you're focusing on maybe 3 or 4 only. Like the next one, for example, suggest managers find difficult. Okay, find difficult, managers find difficult. So you keep focusing on that, because now you shouldn't be focusing on the question anymore. You should be focusing on the options as you listen. Okay, so as you're listening, back to the question, look at the options, and then you can make your decisions. Okay. Oops, sorry. Okay. So yeah, so that's my advice. I get a lot of people who get confused with this ones. Okay, but usually students like this one because there's no spelling involved. Okay. Any other tips that you guys might have concerning this part, guys? Any extra tips, maybe? Or any questions that you have? No, thank you, Andrea. No questions. Okay, thank you, Carlos. All right, cool. Okie dokie, so let's go to the next one, which is you should transfer your answers as quickly as you can in the listening. All right, so that's your answer sheet. Okay, so everyone will get one of that. And then you will do the listening and you will do everything on the question paper, do it. And then in the end, you hear someone say, now you have 10 minutes to transfer your answers. And a lot of people go bang, 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 transfer, quick, finish. Okay, are you like that? Yes or no? Do you usually transfer everything very quickly, or do you usually take your time? Very good, Carlos. Depends on the time. Aline, you have 10 minutes. 10 minutes is a lot of time. Okay. Yes, Andrea, yeah. So at the end, yeah, okay. So yeah. So usually the listening test for the IELTS is about 4 to 5 minutes. So when it hits about 35 minutes, that's when you actually should start transferring, okay? And a lot of people, they get so nervous. And they, as soon as they say start transferring, they go transfer. But if you practice it at home, you will see that it will take you about 2 minutes only to transfer your answers. You know, you do it, finish. So you have like 8 minutes to spare, okay? So my advice is do it slowly, okay? And like Carlos mentioned, now take your time, okay? So there's so many things you can be doing in those 8 minutes, okay? You have an opportunity to check your spelling. So when you're transferring, it's a good time to read things, okay? Check the spelling. If you made a mistake, maybe this is not right, you have the time to think about it, okay? Because when you're listening, you shouldn't stop and think about your answer. Double L or one L? When you're thinking about that, you miss the next answer. Okay, so you should start in any way you want. Just go and write whatever you think is correct. And then at the end, you take your time to check. Okay, so you should use the 10 minutes not only to transfer, but also check the spelling. What else you can do? You can check your grammar. So again, same way as spelling, if you miss one letter, it's all wrong, okay? When you're checking your grammar, same thing. So if it's plural and you forgot the S, it's all wrong. A lot of times, it's a verb. For example, go. And you hear go, write go. But then when you're transferring and you read the sentence again, you may see that there's a preposition before go. And then you need what? ING. So if the answer is going and you write go, it's all wrong. Okay, so that's my main advice too. So you check your spelling, check your grammar, and singular and plural. I already talked about singular and plural. Okay, singular and plural. I have another one here. No. Yes. Oh yeah. So before I talk about that one there, so I think you should check your spelling, check your grammar, singular and plural. Also the form of the word. Sometimes you heard excite, but then you read and you feel that you need an adjective, not really the verb. So you could put ed at the end, it becomes excited. Okay, so grammar is also very, very important when you're transferring. Okay, and of course, guess your answers, the ones you didn't get, because in the IELTS, you don't lose points. Okay, if you choose one answer that was if you guess. So in some exams, like if you guess something, maybe you get don't get as many points. But with the IELTS, you should never leave anything blank. Okay, so if you don't have an answer, just go ahead and guess. Okay, so for you guys who have been practicing for the IELTS, when it comes to the listening and transferring, what do you think would be your main issue when you're transferring? Main mistakes? Is it spelling, grammar, singular, plural? What would that be, guys? Can you tell me? What is your main problem? It's everybody's problems. Yeah, so I'm helping Andrea's class this week. And the first thing I do with them in the afternoon is spelling. Yeah. So spelling is the biggest issue, guys. So again, I think that the best way maybe to practice, so just get the words you got wrong and practice them. A lot of students say, oh, write the word 5 times. Yeah, you can do that. But maybe just write sentences. Yeah, so yeah, Carlos, grammar is super important, very, very important. And sometimes you write the word as you hear, and because you're rushing, you're focusing so much on the information, you don't have time to think about, was it ed, was it ing, was it a plural, was it singular, okay? And a lot of people focus so much on the word and they forget to think about what they're missing. But when you read the sentence, I think it makes more sense, okay? And then you can transfer, okay? So going back to the spelling, guys, so my advice is learn from your mistakes. That's the biggest advice I can give you, okay? And I think the best is actually to get the words you got wrong and maybe write a sentence, or maybe look them up in the dictionary. Maybe you got it wrong because you don't know the meaning, you're not familiar with the meaning. Go over to Cambridge Dictionary and have a quick look. Okay, so that would be the best thing to do. Okay. Do you have any questions concerning listening? Okay, thank you, Carlos. Thank you, Aline. Okay. Cool, so no more questions. So today we covered, okay, myth 7. okay, which was reading the questions first, okay, and then reading the text. So like I said before, I think you should practice both, okay, but I think you should do the one that gets you the best score, okay. Another thing is underlining, extremely important. I don't think that it's a waste of time. I think the underlining actually saves you time. What do you mean the third part? So let me go back a little bit. Andrea has a question. So about the reading. So you don't need to paraphrase. So it's Andrea. So don't need to paraphrase because you hear the word. What you have to pay attention to are the synonyms. Okay. So imagine it's a sentence completion, right? So whatever is in the sentence is a paraphrase of what people are saying. But you hear the exact word. So I don't know if it makes sense. So whatever they say is similar to what's there, but the actual word, you don't have to come up with the word. They will say the word. Okay. So the information that you need, they will say it. All right. Any other questions? No, you actually shouldn't change the word, because if you change the word, now you shouldn't change the word now. They change what's around. So the lady said something in the listening, they have something similar in the sentence. But the gap, the actual word, you will hear and you have to write that, definitely. Okay. Yes, you only write what you hear. Exactly, Carlos. Yeah. So yeah, so you hear it and then you have to write it. I don't have an example. Yeah, I don't have an example here. Yeah, I don't have an example here, but just imagine. Yeah, exactly, Carlos. That you write what you hear. So they have the options of maybe writing 1 or 2 words sometimes. Most of the time it's only 1, especially in part 4 in the listening. Okay, so they're gonna say so many things, and there'll be a sentence there which is very similar to what they say, and that sentence is missing 1 word, which they will say. Okay. All right. Okay. Part 4. What's the problem with part 4, Andrea? The lecture. Amazing lecture. What's the main problem? Do you all struggle with part 4? Is my favorite part. I really like it. What's your main struggle with part 4? No, there's no paraphrasing, Andrea. No, there's no paraphrasing. You basically, maybe I didn't understand what you said. Yeah. But yeah, so whatever you hear, you have to write. Yeah. So they don't you don't paraphrase. Who paraphrase is the test. The test paraphrases, okay? But I feel that in part 4, people get lost very often, okay? And my main advice is just following what they're saying, okay? That's the best thing. Paying attention to what they say when they change the topic, okay? Because a lot of people get lost because it's just one person talking for a long time. Okay, so my main advice is actually following what they're saying. Yes. Okay. Any other questions, guys, concerning listening or reading? Okay, thank you, Andrea. Okay, cool. All right, okay. Okay, so today we talked about reading the text first, okay, and then the questions, okay. Then we talked about underlining, and like we said before, underlining is extremely helpful. It helps you understand the text, okay. In my opinion, makes the text smaller, so I think it's quite helpful. We talked about you should read all the options before you listen to the listening part. If it's short, yes, if you have the time, why not? But if you don't have the time, I think you should focus more on the questions, not the options, and underline them. Underline keywords in the questions, of course. And you should also transfer as quickly as you can. Okay, not a good idea. You should double check your grammar and your spelling and everything. Do you have any final questions? Okay, cool. No thanks. No thanks. All right. Okay. So well done. One more time. I think that all of you were in the first class, right? So you made it. 3 classes. Amazing. Okay. So how are you feeling after a bit of more details on reading and listening? How are you feeling? This one was quite quick, huh? Wow. Only 40 minutes? Feeling good. That's great, Andrea. Great tips. You're welcome, Aline. You're welcome. There's a lot of shy people here today. Oh, you're very welcome, Carlos. Yeah, I hope they help them. Oh, sorry. I hope they help you. Okay, a lot. Okay, cool. Yeah. So this was the last virtual class. Okay, so again, that was the book with 10, the ebook with 10. So we dealt with 4 for the reading, the writing, and then 2 for the listening, and another 4. So 2 for reading and 2 for writing. Sorry, 2 for reading, 2 for listening. Okay, so now, so we did the writing first, then we did speaking, and today we did reading and listening. Okay, so we covered all of them. All right, and now what you can do, okay? Now you can, so again, if you have, didn't get the ebook, So if you didn't get the ebook, Aline, I can send you the link again. Just send me an email. So that's my email right there, okay? Just send me an email. And so you can talk to me on Instagram too. And I will send you the link again so you can download the ebook, okay? All right, okay. So guys, if you have any questions, anything you'd like to know, you can just send me an email on Fab English. I reply, okay? Sometimes it takes me 2 days, but I do reply, okay? If you're gonna do the IELTS anytime soon, you can book a private class with me. Again, just send me an email, okay? And there will be more things happening, okay? I'm not sure, maybe more virtual classes or other things, okay? There was a free ebook, maybe it'll be a course, I don't know. Okay, so keep an eye on Instagram and also YouTube, and of course your email, okay? So just make sure your email is not going to spam, because it has happened to some people. And when the email goes to spam, you don't hear about it, okay? There will be more things happening. And if you have any kind of requests, send me an email, okay? And again, I usually say that if you have a request, that's probably the request of a lot of different people, if you have a question. So it's always good to share, okay? So I'd like to say thank you to you all, okay? So yeah, so I thought you'd take a little bit longer, but it was a short class today, okay? So yeah, Carlos, are you in Colombia, Carlos? You're not in Brisbane, are you? Okay. What time is it there? Oh my God, you woke up very early. Good for you. Good for you, Carlos. All right, okay, yeah. So thank you to you all. Thank you to you all. I'll see you tomorrow, Andrea. No, not tomorrow. I'm not going to be with you. I'm going to be with Toik tomorrow. Okay. So guys, I thank you very much for joining, okay? And stay in touch, okay? So like I said before, you can follow me you can talk on Instagram. We can talk via email. Just send me a message. Okay. All right. So I'll keep you posted on what's happening next. Okay. Thank you, Carlos. Thank you very much. Okay. Thank you.